Okay, welcome you guys. I didn't give much preparation or time for you guys to see him going on. I said I'm going on at 1:50 and I only gave you maybe 5 minutes. Welcome in. Welcome to WCIA Network. Today is actually going to be, this is one of two parts. This one is going to focus much on the information that I have from the Idaho 4, and it ties in with Summer Moon Wells. Like everyone here knows, my focus here is to bring justice to Summer Moon Wells' missing children and to the sacrifices that are going on right beneath our feet. And they're being ignored. It's a very difficult thing to acknowledge because it's a very hurtful, hard thing to accept what is happening. I understand it. Hi Sassafras, hi Lisa, hi Kathy. Welcome in. I do. The visions and the spirits above are really active. Last night, usually a lot of like people who are in tune with their intuition and in tune to their spirit guides. You know, we all have it. It's just part of the world that we live in, right? And some people are just more sensitive because that's their purpose, and others are not because it's not their purpose, because there's other things they have to do in this lifetime. And it's very difficult when you're plugged in, and when you have to get things done and you're plugged in and shit happens, and it's tiring. It is difficult to understand at times, right? Last night, Summer Moon Wells told me a story, and many times when the stories come, I know the difference between a dream, and I know the difference when it's spirit speaking. And I do know, just from what I'm told through spirit, and everything I do and say here falls under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Everything I say is for entertainment and educational purposes. Nothing's been proven true and nothing has been proven false. This is just me giving you what I hear, see, and understand to be true. Simple as that. It doesn't have to do with creators. It has nothing to do with anything but bringing justice to those that have been victimized, with names, without names. I was told that, unfortunately, Summer Moon Wells did struggle, and the only ones who know this is true, well, only ones that I know that know these stories are true, are those that saw it and those who were there. Summer Moon Wells' struggle came as she was kicking her feet really hard. She kicked. She was kicking her feet to try to get some sort of a blanket off her feet. She was kicking someone away from her feet. So her feet were in front of her, and someone went to grab her feet, but there was a blanket, and she was kicking. And as this was happening, her throat was closing up. Her throat was in the back of her throat. It was slowly hard for her to swallow or breathe. And that is the only reason this child stopped kicking and fighting for herself and struggling. Those are very difficult things for me to repeat. I don't repeat them easily. Those that have been here with me know that my truth comes with tears, and my truth comes with signs to tell me I'm speaking the truth of spirit. I know what I just said is true because the tears roll down my face, and they're like hot, hot tears. It's different than like a particular kind of a cry. Now, that struggle didn't last long, because it was almost like she felt like the back of her tongue and the back of her throat swelled. And there was a blanket on the bottom of, like, the bottom of her body. And I don't know why I was shown that, but I think that is part of these children's story, and it's real, and I think that it must be something that happens to many of these children, because when it comes across so strong like that, spirit has to work together to help tell the truth, right? And they have to work together to get their visions and their actions and these strong messages across. It isn't easy. I don't just mosey about my day and be like, oh, someone just told me something. It doesn't happen like that. It happens in moments of connection with somebody. It happens in moments of connection of something that's going on in my life that allows that channel to just completely open wide. And I have learned through the Summer Moon Wells Missing Children Spirits and through the work that I do here on YouTube how real it actually is and how many times it has happened to me in my life. It's happened to me since I was a very, very small child. And me not realizing how important it was for me to acknowledge it. For years I struggled with anxiety. For years I struggled with confusion. For years I struggled with people telling me, you're crazy, or you're, what are you talking about? Or, you're, basically allowing myself, I did it to myself, to believe other people's words and ignore things that were so very loud for me. I mean, so much so that other people sometimes would see what I'm saying because it was so strong. Or they would smell a certain smell in a room. Or the lights would just flash real loud, like brightly in a room. They'll be like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, well, I know what that is. Like, for no reason. So YouTube, my channel, and all of you guys here, WCIA Network, my WCIA Network family, have helped create that space for me. And I say it as much as I can. I say it as often as I can speak it, because I don't get on here and say, oh, this is what I'm going to start with. I get on here saying I'm going to start with this photo in front of me. I didn't. So I don't prepare anything. I just go on. And whatever comes through in the moment comes through. Like, I don't prepare to say this is what I'm just said. I don't. And that's the beauty of the faith of YouTube. You just do. And then if people can't handle it, they change the channel. There's hundreds of thousands of channels to listen to. But then you have those people who can't handle it, and they need to fill their cup with negativity because they don't know better. But there's a better way of doing it, right? So I know that that message is a very strong message, and these children use their blanket, and I believe it's wrapped more so on the bottom of their body, and then they're pulled or taken by their feet, and they're pulled. They're taken that way. And some are struggled. Some are kicked. She was kicking, like just real hard kicking. How I know that is because I was kicking really fucking hard while I was in my bed. 2 a.m. maybe, and it woke me. My husband's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, holy shit. I mean, I haven't done something like that in years, where my body is kicked so fiercely that it woke me. And my husband confirmed it. He's like, "What were you doing with your blanket?" So I don't know why I'm telling that story right now. I'm just telling it, and maybe it's going to come back in here in my presentation. I don't know, but it happened last night, so maybe it means another child was taken. Maybe it means that there's such a force right now that another child was just taken last night. I don't know, because it comes in sections, it comes in moments, it comes in a timing. It shows itself in a timely manner. So that's as far as it got for me in that moment. And it's as real as it gets for me, you guys. And that's when I tell these, and I always hope that it helps bring justice, and that some law enforcement will one day look at a channel like mine and do something with it, and not be like, ignore it. There are people that really have fucking answers. They're real. Not everyone, but they're real. There's nothing deep faked about it. So on that note, welcome in. Forsakes Alive, Rumple Longhair, Muffin Top, my amazing mod, Cheryl, Jean, oh my god, this is amazing. BC, Lisa, I said, Sassafras. Yeah. So here we go. I have a presentation that's extremely important. I took down my other video. I actually sent information into the group that's in charge of Brian Kohlberger's case. I did speak to them. And my information is being looked at. And I want to show you why. It's not me just saying someone is fucking around with Brian Kohlberger's deep fakes. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Every one of the interview room's videos that I have looked at lately is astonishing. All my photos, mainly from Summer Moon Wells's presentation that I have after this, it's called the Interview Room's Images. And thank you all for those amazing words. Thank you. And the interview room, really, the images, they're not saying he has anything to do with it, but his images contradict every damn thing that's going on. The photos I have here from Brian Kohlberger I'm showing you now are from the interview room, mainly. And when I look back and I show you the presentation that I have, it says the interview room comparison. I take each one of, this is a new thing that I can't believe I haven't done this in over 2 years. Never thought about it. You take each second and take a snapshot, and I could basically show you how each second, the snapshot is a different scene. And the interview room has, holy shit. Go watch his interview with Hunter. Do it second by second. Your mind will be blown. I don't see Hunter there. That's not even Hunter to me. So I don't know if I see it through my third eye or not, but that's a bullshit interview is what I see. I think it's a bullshit interview that I see with Candace. If I take the information from the interview with Candace when the interview room is walking by the lake, and then I take it and compare it to the exact same footage that is in Cracking Cases, you've got some real issues. It's almost as if they're in different locations, but they're not. Same with Brian Kohlberger's footage. Brian Kohlberger's footage is more than meets the eye. Brian Kohlberger's footage is being used for deep fake, mainly from the body cam. And then from the body cam, it goes to the YouTube creators. And what I noticed throughout in the interview room's videos, there's 5 seconds missing between each frame. Not 1 second. It'll go from like 1 minute 53 seconds to like 1 minute 58 seconds. I'm like, what? And it's not that it's done once. Seconds are removed throughout the whole entire video. You take those seconds that are removed and you plop in a deep fake, you've got a whole new video. The footage is being used again. The difference is there's footage that is being placed in between the open seconds, and that's what I see. So imagine, I'll show you the interview rooms after this, and I have there 5 minutes and 50 seconds, and then all of a sudden it goes 5 minutes, and then the next frame is 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Well, there's 4 seconds there that are totally gone. I compared that same footage that's of the water and the house and that whole same section with Cracking Cases. There might be one frame that's exactly the same, but in between is a whole different story. And that's where we're getting the confusion, because the footage is being fucked with. I don't know how else to say it any nicer. The footage is being fucked with. There's like frames in between that are left. I'm going to show you. I could take I'm going to show you a frame from Cracking Cases in a frame. I'm just using them as an example. I don't know. It's not about them. And a frame from the interview room. They'll have one same frame, but in between, it doesn't even make any sense. It'll show like a number. It'll show the elements in between. It will show the elements. Someone hanging in a tree, a number 5 box floating around. Someone coming out of the bus. And all of Summer Moon Wells' videos of the vigils in the beginning, you know who has great footage? What's his name? Enchanted Life Path. Because he replays old footage. Slow that footage down. He's got a video out there. Listen to the voices. You will always hear a child saying, "Mommy, Mom, Mommy, Mom," and or laughing or giggling or crying. But notice how it's always the same voice. That is Summer Moon Wells. Someone is putting that in there. I think it's his video today. It's an amazing video. Let me see. It's an amazing video. I don't need to play it, but it's called, yeah, it's today's. Go listen to it. It's phenomenal. Summer Wells, The Unusual Suspects. My first ever Summer Wells video. Okay, so this was his very first video, Enchanted Life Path. Listen to it. You will hear the voices that I have been playing in other videos, and they're the voices of the children. It's in there. All the authorities have to do is go get all of those videos, and in no way is it, a coincidence that the same voice is going, "Mommy," and giggling. It's the same audio over and over in this fucking Timothy's videos. He has the same damn voices in there. Any one of Timothy's, any one of Tim Mullins, Tim Mullins, Timothy's, and that red-headed guy that was always with Timothy. Listen to the giggles. Whenever you hear Don Wells talking about his daughter, listen. Listen to the audio. Is that when Cher called Don Wells and Candace Wells allegedly? That might be in there too, Muffin Top. I would go to his videos. I have them too, obviously. There's 600, but I think his are organized better than mine. So you can probably find it easier. I don't know about that. But it's in there. And there's no way. And I thought about that today when I'm like, oh, I love when they play videos from day one. And I listen to other creators put them up there, is because they're different versions. You guys, there's different versions, and that's what I'm going to show you. This is Brian Kohlberger. I'm not saying he's guilty or not guilty. I don't know. But there's a group of people in this. It's not all about him. If he gets electric chair and he's found guilty, that's going to bring no justice to the children. Because it's the story that needs to be told. It's a story that's going to stop this from happening. Look at Brian's face. Right? Here's the interview room. The interview room's videos have very interesting footage. Now, this is just Brian Kohlberger being pulled over by the police. When I see an image pop up that has something to tell me, I snap a photo of it to show you guys. I'm putting it out there that this car ride, that they pulled him over. Now, I don't know if it was this way in the beginning or not, but I can tell you that this is a critical video for his team to look at. because it isn't what they say it is. This is what it is. This here is in the corner of the video. I know what this is. This is an element I've been looking at for over 2 years. This is the number 5 box with the white thing on top and white thing on bottom. This is in the corner of the video. But what you're looking at is supposed to be Brian Kohlberger's car. This is throughout the video, you guys. This is the version from the interview room. Understand that each version changes. It changes. This here, let me pull it out a little. Is the interview room. This shows something and someone screwed with it. There's that same face in the window. Now that face shouldn't be in the window. It's just a girl who pulled him over. It shouldn't be there. But look at the car. That's what's in between the frames. This is a serious problem. This is what's going on to tell the story of the sacrifices without anyone getting busted. This is what's in it. This is what you see. This shouldn't be part of the car. This shouldn't be in the video at all. This is in the car. This is showing his car has a window, a green door window. Look at the front seat of Brian Kohlberger's car. Look in the window. That's not the front of the car. Something's going on there. All of their videos are messed with. And now, yes, some people will be like, oh, you've got, layers here. I've unpeeled a layer to show you what's under the layer. There's nowhere in this video that frame in this small photo makes sense. The frame in this small photo is telling the story. That little photo in the middle is telling the story. These frames and this information is easily captured within the interview room's videos. Each one of his frames holds a story. The mirrors tell a story. That's what's in the mirror. Now, I know that that's an element because I've been looking at these things. That shit shouldn't be in the video. This here in the back seat, which is back here, really? There's nobody else standing with this lady that pulls Brian over. All they have to do is put 1 + 1 = 2. It is always that. That is there. It was a lady. It was a female cop. Understand, the female cop isn't in the back seat. The female cop isn't back there. She is up front. This face always looks the same. It's always the same. Now, this is the photo that I started with. The reason I started with this photo, put a 1 if you see what I see. This is the food truck video. Do you see that bloody body? You see the hands connected? This isn't in any of the videos that we've seen. The version I'm going to show you right now in my PDF and the information that I'm about to show you in my PDF points to the students at the school, period. I'm putting it out there. Points to a very large group, a very large setup. You're going to see the creator where I got this from. You could go check her own stuff out. It's got nothing to do with her. The problem I have is we've never seen this. This is the Idaho 4 murder. What does this have to do with one person? Nothing. This isn't one person that is doing this. There is a tunnel. I am telling you, there is a tunnel. A very small tunnel. Somewhere in front of the 1122 house. The 1122 house. Or is it 1112? It's the other house. There's a tunnel that's connecting the houses. I see it. It's been created. It's not one of those tunnels that have been there forever. It's a tunnel that was created to connect to the tunnels that have been there forever. You see what I'm saying? It's a tunnel that has been created for this situation. It's connecting them. Here, I'll turn it upside down so you see what it looks like. This here, this picture here is from the group. This here is from the students. Like all this is from the students. These are the students there, Linda Crew. This is, I have that in there. I don't know what this person's page is, but I believe this is a group activity. I see this as a group activity. I see Ethan Chapman's face to the right. I see a deep fake covering up his face and he's being brought to the water. So when I give these readings, it's not about the creator who has this on her YouTube channel. It's me telling you Ethan Chapman was taken to the water. Ethan Chapman was sacrificed differently than the other 3 or other 4. There were more than 4 sacrifices within this group. Way more than 4. But when I look at this, my whole body screams, Ethan Chapman is looking at me. Ethan Chapman is looking at me. It's telling me they brought him to the water. It's telling me that this is what it looks like. This all comes from the same video. It's a group activity. It is not about one person. So what I'm telling you, if in fact they close this up because it's one person did it and done, the children will be like, are you fucking kidding me? Because that will mean that Brian Kohlberger was the fall guy. That will mean that Brian Kohlberger knows he's taking it for the team. It's not just him. It is not just him. These pieces of wood really give a lot of information. I hold on to that picture to the left. The picture to the right. Now, let me tell you guys something. This is a water sacrifice. The person who is blowing smoke from his mouth. Let me tell you how my spirits work before I say this, because, you know, now, not to say it's Ryan Upchurch, but there's certain things that, you know, when you guys, people get this, but I've learned how to pay attention, right? When I would watch Ryan Upchurch do certain movements, now it doesn't mean it's Ryan Upchurch here. It means that it's someone that looks like, I'm telling you, looks like Ryan Upchurch. And this person does the same things as Ryan Upchurch does occasionally. I have a photo of Ryan. It's in a video of his blowing smoke out of his mouth. And I put it in one of my presentations, actually. I think it's in my Faces presentation. And he's blowing smoke out of his mouth. And I'm like, that has a story to be told. Like it's like that's how it works for me. Like, let me see, Faces. It has story to be told. Faces of Ryan. How about that? I have a whole thing that's called Faces of Ryan. It reminds me of this guy. And that's not Ryan, right? But that's supposed to be, because this is Ryan's video. And there's different faces of him. So when I say, oh, it's Ryan Upchurch, it looks like Ryan Upchurch, I seriously know that there's many different faces. Right? Like there are many, many faces of Benny. Like these are supposed to be Benny's. And here, I'll show you these here. But there's so many deep fakes. And the truth of the matter is nobody has even accepted the fact that there's so many, like we know that's not Ryan Upchurch, right? Just like we know this isn't Benny. The Benny that we know. But no one cares. So it's like it's very confusing to me how no one will bat an eye when I'm like, this is not Benny. Like these aren't Benny's, right? Like who the fuck is this? But it's Benny in his Benny's freaking video. But it's not. So when I say Ryan Upchurch blowing smoke out of his mouth, look at this, Benny. Look at the difference. Look at this guy. And these all come from the same video. I always say to you, you know, they all look so different, but I know that this isn't the Benny that we see. Like, these are different people. So when I say this dude reminds me of, totally does, this guy here. So this is what I'm talking about. So it's never about, yeah, that's a baby sleeping back there. Correct. I've sent all this shit in. So when I show you a photo like this and I say, like, this guy matches the blanket, right? He matches the blanket. And that's the photo I have with the gun and the mask and something and the knife. It's the whole setup. I could see this guy, to me, is the same one that is at the food truck blowing smoke out of his mouth. There's a video of the food truck, but there's a guy blowing smoke out of his mouth. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. I've never seen that before. Because I recognized Ryan Upchurch doing it, it told me to pay attention. You see. To me, this person is following the situation. So whoever this is, like if the authorities ever want to listen, this person is ginormous, a ginormous key to solving the Idaho 4 murders. Period. That's how it works for me. It's how it works. You guys will see photos later, and if you go back to Idaho 4, the food truck, the guy's just blowing smoke out of his mouth. And spiritually speaking, it's the same guy. It's this dude. This dude is wearing the exact pattern I have been looking for in this bed. I do not know how I got this photo. It was smashed in between. I don't even know why. But this, now let me tell you something. The other side of his sweater isn't the same. It's just that side. Yeah, that guy in front of Walgreens is going to come up one day. It's got to. This and this are the same. Maybe this is the blanket maybe this is a blanket I'm supposed to pay attention to because I had that vision. Maybe I'm supposed to pay attention to the blanket right now. These are the same. That photo is really freaking weird. There's a gun right here. This is a rifle. This is a gun. This is the mask. This is a knife. This is the blanket. This is a bed of some sort, but there's like something here. That there is a table, and that's the TV. There's always a TV. It shows, to me, this is what Ethan went through. He went through a horrific water sacrifice. And this was not done in a day. It was a team effort. And this is what happened to the Idaho 4. The video here, it gives me a lot of information. I believe their feet were tied together. They were tied together by those little ties, whatever they're called. Those little ties that you saw on one of the people in the Idaho 4 party. He had one on his arm. Zip ties. Their feet are zip tied together. And they're bound. And this is what it looks like. This is what happens at the water sacrifice. Those feet are bound together. They cannot move. And this to me is exactly what Ethan Chapman looked like. This to me is the Ethan Chapman sacrifice with the other girls, but his name is what screams loudly to me. The markings on his back are just telling the story to me. It's telling me the story of the Idaho 4. That in his back is not just simple. You know, they don't just put, when people take these photos and place deep fakes and shit on here, there's a reason for every teeny little image within the videos. When you look at his back, this is what it looks like when a victim is sitting in their chair. Okay? So everything that I see, maybe you don't see it, but I see it because I know what the story is telling me. And they get lowered into the water. So the videos help me tell you the story. To me, Ethan Chapman's story, the Ethan Chapman that we know of, for all we know there's hundreds of Ethan Chapmans, but this is what's going on at a waterfront, which we don't know where this is. We don't. The letters and so forth throughout the video do shift. But there are certain symbols that I have seen many of times. And these videos are loaded in symbols. This person has a tie around his neck. This here is the process of the story. I'm leading into the food truck, right? This video, to me, is all one. The food truck, to me, is the deep fake. It's a bunch of crock of shit. And whatever is happening in this orange room is the food truck. Yes, it's a CJ. Do you know what that would mean? What do you think CJ is? I don't know. It's a CJ. That's a number 5, and then there's an L, and then this here, this shape here is a shape. Like this tells a story. And then this guy here is being sacrificed. Actually, let me bring that closer up so you see it. This guy here, these are sacrifices. Right? See how he was branded on the chest. These are sacrifices that are being shown. These are sacrifices. The one in the middle is his neck. Around his neck. So I see Ethan Chapman. I see that this is him. Both of these videos collide together as one. I'm going to show you that even though they show one thing, you need to look beneath the deep fake. Look beneath this guy's face. You see that's Ethan Chapman. That's what I see, and I'm sticking to it. Because this here is Ethan in this video, right here. That to me is him. See the guy in the red hair in the back? There he is again. This is actually supposed to be Ethan. This here isn't. But this here, let me crop this photo so you see one set of eyes instead of two. This here, this photo is the same as this photo when you take away those eyes. This is Ethan Chapman. With this around his neck. This is the sacrifice. This is Ethan Chapman's sacrifice, you guys. I am telling you. Because the boy, let me turn this. This is the same thing on his neck as he is over here. He is covered in sacrificial shit. That, in the beginning, do you understand that they want you to think that it's this boy? It isn't. It isn't. It's not. This is the deep fake. This is Ethan. In the same video, he pops up. But look what's on his arm. He's going through the sacrifice. What I'm showing here today is critical information. Critical. It's super obvious. There's the boy in the red here in the back. That is a critical person that's part of this puzzle. See the thing around his neck? It's really, really pathetic that this shit is being ignored. This was not done by one person. This is the thing around his neck, which matches what I just showed you. This, to me, is Ethan. And there is no difference between this photo and this photo. Whatever is happening is the same thing. And there's the redheaded guy, right back there. He even has the L on his arm. Everyone has one. This situation bleeds into the food truck. The faces that appear here are the faces, trigger warning, of the students that were sacrificed. This is Ethan Chapman. This is a raw photo of his sacrifice. The kid that's with him is the same one that's in all the videos of the parties at the house. Now I'm going to point this out. So, trigger warning. It's a very difficult photo to point out because it's difficult to look at. This is Ethan Chapman. This is the food truck. That is fucking Ethan Chapman. And what you see to the right is the fake bullshit food truck. This is nothing more than somebody with a sick-ass fucking mind showing the sacrifice and placing it within these videos beneath the deep fake. If the law enforcement can just fucking look, why would this be in here? Do you all see his face? Right there. Come on, man. Seriously. Those are his lips. Those are his lips. Those are his eyes. Somebody please tell me why no one cares. This is the food truck. I sent this into their attorneys. I sent it into their team. I talked to them on the phone. I hope that they do something about it. I am not saying anything about who's guilty or not guilty. What I'm saying is if this goes unnoticed, this will not stop. That is Ethan Chapman. You see this here? I said these are two different faces. That's Brian Kohlberger. I don't know who the fuck that is. But you see their shirt? This shirt pops up. Now, it may look funny here, but it changes throughout the video. Whatever's going on the right is the same damn shirt that they're showing to the left on Brian. The people that are trying to solve this are wasting the taxpayers' money by not paying attention. The person you see here is the same person that's in these videos. That's the dude all the way in the back of the room. That's the one that's standing in the back of the room. Where's the picture of him? 15, 12. Let me show you. That dude is, to me, the same guy. Wait. Back here. Now, you may not see it, but that's okay. Because I feel it. So this guy who keeps showing up, to me, is the same guy back here. Not the front guy, the back guy. That person needs to be found. Whoever's in this video, I don't care. I don't know if they're deep faked, but these are the faces that keep showing up. Now, this same night is when, remember this pink hat, and we have photos of her in the room. I'm like, this is her sacrifice. She had the same pink hat. This is the night, this video is the night of sacrifice. This is so obvious. And then they show their feet. Their feet are tied together. Now, this may be a shitty picture, but this is about them telling Ethan to rest in peace. This is a video that they made about telling Ethan to rest in peace. Let me tell you guys something. Those zip ties were major. Those zip ties are major. This is Ethan. Does he look like his friends are telling him to rest in peace? Look at the little picture on the corners. It's a number 5 box. That is exactly what these victims look like at the end of their sacrifice. I have showed you those little photos many times in Summer Moon Wells. They're what I show you at the carnivals. This. Let me brighten it up. There is so much of the same, and it's so obvious that this cannot be one person band. This is not a solo band player. This is what's in the corner of this whole entire video. Now, this actually happened to come from Jay's from Justice. Doesn't mean anything. But this video actually came from Jay's from Justice. This here is what the victims look like, you guys. It's like they're hanging from a fucking ride. And that's what they look like. That's what they look like. This is the same thing as, this is a shitty example, but here's Summer. She's in her bucket right here. Right there. See that? Summer's in her box. This is just being deep. You can't see the whole thing, but look. That's the same box as I'm showing you Ethan is in. This is Summer in her outfit, in her school outfit that they picked for that day. Does anyone see anything wrong with this photo? She's in this, in a box. That is not a car seat. Not car seat. They're showing you the story. That's Summer in the same situation. Always the same. These are pictures from the stupid video that came out. I don't even want, this is not even fitting in. I want to go right to the food truck. This is the food truck. The food truck is nothing more than photos of them murdering, and sacrificing. The photos in here are all from the food truck. You could go to this lady's station. I don't really know anything about her, but this is where I got my footage. I don't know why the footage is so horrific, but to me that shows that she is with a Brian Kohlberger, you see. I don't know who else she'd be with. This guy with the number 1 on his shirt is part of the group that has this dirty, bloody body. This is what's going on in the food truck. This is all the sacrifice, you guys. This is the sacrifice that these kids go through. This all becomes the story. This isn't just one night. This isn't just the food truck chopping fucking heads off. The people in this video are not the same people in the original food truck video. Look really closely at what's going on here. These are sacrifices. The black man in here is being sacrificed. He's the one who's going through a sacrifice here, along with whoever else is they're going through. That's a body with no head. There's no way getting around it. We don't have footage like this. Look at the food truck. It's a room that kills. This is nothing more than the sacrifice that these kids went through the night that they got murdered. I don't care if these photos look like they're on top of each other, layered. Who would layer anything that looks like a murder scene? You have to have the footage in order to layer it. This is the Summer Moon Wells Missing Children's story. Do you understand that what you're looking at are the different chairs for the different victims? Watch. Take piece by piece. This is the inside of the food truck. These are number 5 boxes. I know what this is. I've seen it before. The food truck shouldn't have anything even close to resembling this. What you're looking at all the way to the left is a beheaded human. It's a beheaded human. Look. This is your food truck. There is no way in hell one person put all of this together and did it and nothing happened. This is a group of people with a well thought out, organized plan that to me are killing people we don't know. It's not just Idaho 4. They're killing people and using other people as the cover up. They're murdering people with no name, and they're murdering people that are, to me, have disabilities, have issues, are minorities, people that they just don't like. Just don't like them. Here's inside your food truck. The food truck blends in with the street and all other stuff. Everything that you see here is all one. What you see up in the left-hand corner, here, these are sacrifices, and these are not just the Idaho 4. Okay, these are people that are going to be looking for justice. See, something happens with their throat because I feel it. Here it goes again. The back of the throat. They do something, the back of the throat. Because I feel it. These are all the sacrifices. They are lined up. And if the authorities give a fuck to do something about it, just go look at the frickin' video. Frame by frame. That's it. Frame by frame. This is the story. Here are people inside this food truck that are being sacrificed. This is a sacrifice. It is right in front of us. It's right in front of us. This is what these victims go through. These are photos that are not new to me. These are photos that the children of all ages go through. And that's what I call Summer Moonwell's missing children. They may look like just adults here. They're not just adults. This is all from the food truck video. I just can't emphasize it anymore. This is what's going on. Look closely of what's happening with the body. So the body comes in. That's the head. There's the V. There's the V on the neck. And somewhere between certain moments in time, the head is cut off. I mean, I don't even know how else to say it. It's cut off. And it's super obvious. It's in the video. And there is no reason for this. This is the body with the head. There's the V on the neck. Right here. That's the V. This is the face. Those are the lips. Right there. That's the head, right? That's the head. Let me show you another closer photo. So this goes on literally for like a couple minutes, like this. It's the head. Right? And whoever's the cook, you know, he's in a bad situation too. So it's not like who's in here. Everyone in this truck has elements on them, just to let you know. And to me, it's not a truck. They're in that room, that orange room. See how he has the heart on him and he's got shit on him too. And then it just continues with this head behind them. And then shit starts to happen. I mean, this is what it looks like. You know, you start with one photo and then all of a sudden, let me crop this. You've got so here's the heads, and then the heads are gone. And they're gone. This is what I'm talking about. You know how I always say, oh, there's heads, the heads on a platter, heads on a platter. Well, this is the chopping block. This is the chopping block. And inside this kitchen, you know, little photos show up of what you're looking at here. It's nothing more than a blood zone. I mean, I know what I'm looking at. I feel it in every inch of my body. Thank you guys for those wonderful words. These are victims. Up in your right-hand corner, there is a victim coming out of the bottom of the ground because they come up from tunnels. They come up. They don't just walk into these places. They get to these places by staying underground. You guys understand? They just don't appear and like walk into areas where they know you're going to see them on some sort of footage. They're coming up and out of holes. That's what's happening. And this is a joke. A joke that it's not being looked at. The whole entire video stays this way. Now, as this continues and they move this body, they're moving the body. You know, like it's not staying still. These bodies move around this kitchen and they get placed back into the hole. See to the right, they get placed back in. These are boxes, you guys. Let me brighten this up. These are probably the number 5 boxes that they go back into. But this is a major part of sacrifice. And, you know, when it shows in the corner of these videos, and I'm telling my listeners as well as I'm telling the authorities, is you must look at the smallest little windows of information that appear in the right or the left side of the video, because that is where they fuck up and leave information that's supposed to be like the outside of the food truck, or it's supposed to be the street, right? So for example, they show this as the four corners of their video. In this video, you go into the corner that's to the left of the fake food truck. You get the location. All that other shit is fake. So all the way up there, there's a doorway. And this, to me, is the gateway to wherever this is. Wherever this is, these are entranceways. And this entranceway is where you see this bloody body and the guy with the number 1 on his t-shirt. It's all on that side of the video. It's in the smallest window of the video, you guys. It's not like you're going to turn on the video and it's going to just, you know, pop up in your faces. It's there. It's just in the smaller windows. And this, to me, I know there's a lot of different Rise Up churches. This, to me, is one of those fake Rise Up churches. And this person is extremely important. This person's more important than Brian Kohlberger. So that corner I just showed you blends into, now see, this is what I'm saying is they sometimes fuck up, because this here is showing they were supposed to cover it a little better, right? Wait. This is supposed to be really 2 separate frames, but it's one. That's the bloody body now in the street. So that is, see back there, all of a sudden it's in here. That was a moment ago, it was a separate image. It was this in the 4 corners. So all they've got to do is get the original video and see that this is one room. They're just setting up a fucking scene. That's one room. This isn't split, you guys. What you see back there is the situation. This is the street. Not really. It's all one. It's in 4 squares, but let me tell you, you take those layers off, bet my bottom booty, you're in one big room. like this. This is that corner. So what's in the bottom left here, just pretend this is the truth, because it shows right here. This is the cover-up. This is the truth. This is the cover-up. All of a sudden, the truth is there, and the cover-up, they made a mistake. That's bloody. Those are bloody corpse. I know what I'm looking at. So once in a while, that's what happens. And these are all the food truck. It just keeps going. It is a necessity for this to be pulled apart to show there are many people involved. This takes a lot of team play to put this shit together. A lot. So now when you look at this food truck, you're gonna see the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. What you're looking at in the top right-hand corner is literally in the same room as a food truck. You see that? That is the same. The black man on the bottom right-hand corner now has a mask on his face. That is very common. The masks are used to be able to put a different person's face over. It's all done by electronics. This here is all done by electronics. But that's supposed to be the black guy in the corner. This is what he looks like. You know, I try to show you guys certain things that I know are obvious. Like, you know, like, yeah, you could tell that something's wrong with that, right? This here, let me brighten this up. This here, I didn't see them in the other food truck videos. And this is the corner where everything is happening. This corner. So there's so much more that needs to be looked at. Now look at that child's face. That's a child. That is no longer the guy that we were looking at before. We don't know who that is. That's a child. This shit is quite easy for someone like the law enforcement to grab and rip apart. This here is no longer the man sitting in the food truck. So that kind of stuff happens when it's real. Like this is real shit. We all know what that person looked like before. Not like that. Very sad. Very sad. This is the corner of the video that needs attention from the authorities. This is the corner that needs deeper looking at by authorities, because I believe that they're going to realize that this doesn't exist. That this doesn't exist. I chose to show you JLR's video of the Idaho 4 house, not because it's JLR. It's very important to recognize JLR's video has the images of the red door. You guys, this is critical because this red door is what I have showed you throughout all of the Idaho 4 videos. I said this red door is where the sacrifices were. I've showed you a red door like this in Summer Moon Wells' house. I've shown this red door within that weird, creepy guy's videos of telling the Idaho 4 story. This red door is a major element in the Idaho 4. Why it's in here, I have no idea, because it shouldn't be. He's showing the outside. He's going through the outside of a house. Let me brighten this up. This here if anyone has seen any of my other videos, you know this red door is very meaningful. Very meaningful. It shows up. Let's see. Guy. New guy? No. Wait. Walgreens guy. Oh, here's the Walgreens guy. You're right. Someone said he looks like the This is the Walgreens guy. For people who don't know, this dude showed up on June 15th. Anyway, so this red door also matches. This is very interesting. Now, this one is not JLR's. This is JLR's with the red door in his video, which, oh God, I wish I had the picture. It's in the video of the night of the murders, allegedly. and they show the boys are in the dark outside. There's a car, and there's a red door that literally is like superimposed in the video. And this is the red door. Shit, I really wish, what could I find it under? Let's see. It's so hard. Sometimes they show up. I'm just going to look at a couple photos to see if it shows up. See, I mean, it's not in this one, but it shows up in this guy's video. This is a bad photo. It's in the back of that guy's video. Here it is. So it's this. Yeah, it matches perfectly. Let me crop it. So Brian Kohlberger, this weird video that we have. This red door shows up, and it also matches the night of. That red door shows up throughout the Idaho 4 videos. So what I'm saying is, again, it appears in JLR's video of him just showing the outside of this house. Now, remember I just said, these are the same. Remember I just said there's something about the 1112, I think it's 1112 house. 1119. I'll show you the house in a minute. But I don't want to get rid of these pictures. When you look at the house, I want you to look at these windows. They're all the same, but they have different information in the windows, but they all have the same frame. See how they have, this one has the number 5 machine in the window. I'm going to show you it, but notice they all have the same frame as these guys, okay? This house is the 1119 King. I just don't like looking at it. Like it just, I don't like it. I think that it speaks, it tells me a story. I feel a tunnel, I feel a walkway, I feel like there's something about this that's connected. I feel like this is a house that needs to be looked at. I don't like it. I don't like the feeling. I fucking hate it. Actually hate it. These are pictures of the Idaho 4 girls. Closer photos of them. I want you guys to recognize what happens with their faces. The girl to the left, she's the one who walks out of the Idaho 4 home into the car, and her underwear in the car, yada yada. But if you get closer, you could see what I mean by how these faces are manipulated. mean, look at her face to the left. Let me crop it. So when I say deep fake, and I'm telling you I see other things underneath these photos, and I say that they're deep faked, they're deep faked, and this is how they do it. And I'm like, oh, I know this isn't who you think it is. The only way that I could show you that is when they show faces that are covered like this. And then they could put different information over it. I don't know why, but if they're going to do that shit, they're covering something up. All this kind of information, you guys, is new. I feel like there's major, massive, deep messages within all of these videos that I viewed. So when I say that, I'm saying that I hear these messages that come through. And I feel like Maddie's giving a speech about nothing about school. And that there's a lot of different faces that are her face, meaning that there's a lot of people that fall beneath her story. That there are other people that have been sacrificed that look like her. Just like Summer Moon Wells. It's just like Summer Moon Wells, that she's telling a story that has to do with not her, but ones that resemble her. Or, you know how like I was like Summer Moon Wells was the chosen like group. I feel like she here is one. She's one of those as well. Like there are many underneath her, meaning there are many sacrifices that carry her face, because all of this information here comes from that video. And it all goes back to the Sigma Chi house. So there's some sort of connection between these homes, like between the Sigma Chi, the one on Kings Road, the Idaho 4 house. There's something that connects them all. They work together. These homes work together. Like all they're showing to the right is what, the trophies look like. It's what it looks like at the end. And they all know the story. It's a group. Not just one. It's a group. All these kind of photos don't stop. Sigma Chi, that's supposed to be someone. This is another child's face. This is not the guy from Sigma Chi. These are sacrifices. The information that I'm seeing and looking at is nothing more than murder. And the group of people know about it. They all know about it. It's not just a Brian Kohlberger. I don't know why he's the selected one. That's my biggest question, I said that before, does he know or does he not know that he's been set for this? That's my question. Like, does he know or does he not know that this is what he's doing? He's like the person that's in charge of this. Because all of these photos and what I look at, it's a team play, man. It's a team of people. And I'm not really quite clear on what Brian Kohlberger's role is. But putting him in jail or finding him guilty without him telling the story is a shame. Because the story will continue if he knows it or doesn't he. You know, like I know that Lori Vallow knows the story. I know that. I know that Chris Watts knows the real story. I know that Casey Anthony knows the real story. Right? It's not talked about. My question is, does Brian know the real story? Does he realize that this is what's going on? This? Fake fucking boxing. There's the guy in the red hair again. It's the same person. It's the same. There's no boxing going on, you guys. They could call it what they want to call it. It's part of the story. This here is part of the process. This. And I've asked that before. I'm just quite curious if he knows this is the story. This is supposed to be, again, part of the food truck. This is the sacrifice. This isn't the food truck video. This, to me, is the same thing that motherfucking guy looks like that's telling the story. The weird dude. He's the same guy. There's no difference to me, looking at a video that's half and half like this than looking at Timothy and that guy with the red hair doing the same fucking thing. It is the same. This. It's broken up the same, and there's no difference. And I mean, when you see a video broken up like this, this is how they do it. This is supposed to be Timothy, but I go back to Timothy. Right here, it looks just like a Ryan Upchurch. It's like another Ryan Upchurch face. There's no difference. somewhere the authorities have to look at it. That face is what I call this face. Same thing. So when you look at this TV, understand this is a TV, right? This is the same way that they filmed this. This is the same concept because it's the same people. Plexiglass, correct. It's the plexiglass. So why is it that no one could look at this plexiglass and be like, wow, the machine that you see here is the same machine as you see here? If I could do it, the authorities could do it. And the only other red-headed guy that I've seen do it was the guy that was with Timothy, right here. The two of them, this is the first time I saw this concept, was in their videos of Summer Moon Wells's vigils. Summer Moon Wells's vigils and Summer Moon Wells's case introduced to me every case that I'm working on. Every case follows this same protocol. This. And guess what? It goes back to the same faces that look the same as these guys. I'm not saying it's them. I'm telling the authorities, go backwards. The room with the light, this right here, right there, is the same as the guy I just showed you. There's no difference. There's no difference. Different day, different dollar. I mean, when you're looking at this, that's Timothy with the V coming out of his head in a room that looks like that, surrounded by the plexiglass. This is this. This is this. So at the end of the day, it's not complicated. The problem is the law enforcement doesn't want to see it. This here, Timothy, with the guy that read here, is the same as this. See the V? This is the same as this. Always has that little white ball, the white light, which is the same as this, same as this, same as this, this, and this. No different. No different. They're all showing the same kind of information using the same technique, the same cover-up, the same V's, same everything. This is bullshit. All these videos, complete bullshit. Here's her TV. This is where this video is coming from. This might as well be the dude that's telling the story in the plexiglass. It might as well be the same dude. Because it's the same setup. It's the same setup. This here copy is the head of a sacrifice. That's, to me, the head of a sacrifice. You've seen this many, 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 many times. I show it all the time. There's, see the neck is the V or the A, whatever you want to call it. Here, I'll flip it so you guys see it. Here, it looks, it's more understandable if I turn it. Hello, Summer Moon Wells Missing Children's case. It's no different. It's no different. These are all one. All one. All one. No difference, you guys. This is the Summer Moon Wells Missing Children. Let me see something as I have it on. Let me see how many pages this other one is. Oh, brother. 103. Let me see this one. 78. I'll give you a little taste of what's in video number 2. So a lot is coming through, and it does get a little frustrating here and there because the things that I think are obvious may not be obvious at all, right? So I try to show it the best to my ability to show it. And when I say there's certain elements that show up in all these different videos, they do. And as these people continue creating new cases, oh, wow. Wait a minute. As they start creating, it just gives opportunity to show more of the story, right? So as I'm going through this picture, these photos will be, I should go back and look at these photos because now faces that come through may look more recognizable because we know a lot more people now than we did then. Right? It's interesting when you go backwards. It's interesting to go backwards. See? That's not even the guy in there. This is a sacrifice. So when you go back into time and look at the videos, knowing that what we know 2.5 years later, I mean, I haven't gone back to these for 2 years. Look. That's Timothy and the guy with the red hair. Well, you could tell these are sacrifices. You could tell there's a problem here. And they match everything I'm showing. See? Look at the top bit, the top part. This is exactly the same process as the Idaho 4 used, right? This is the same deep fake cover-up. This is what I showed in the beginning, and it was actually difficult for me to explain it. I remember this one from the beginning. Remember this eyeball? Look at the eyeball. That's not my eyeball. It's in the video. I thought that was Summer Moon Wells' eyeball. So this is stuff that is all about Summer Moon Wells. This is stuff that consistently had showed up throughout her case. And now as I look back, this Timothy photos, the face behind his face is what's being deep faked. These are very interesting photos of him, right? They're very interesting. My next presentation is showing the Summer Moon Wells case from the eyes of the interview rooms, frame by frame. You guys, these are really... So that's what my next one will be, and I will be calling it part 2. I'm supposed to go out somewhere tonight. I just asked if we're still on. Look at these. These guys had bushy eyebrows. Look at that. This is crazy. Man, you guys, I haven't put these. This is 2 years January. I'm under Idaho weird guy. I don't know why. So this is a good lead into Summers. Keep an eye out. When you're looking at the videos, remember these elements and listen to yourself. Listen to what your own voice is telling you as you watch videos that help tell the story the way they want you to see the story. You know, use your own senses. Use all of your senses when you're listening and viewing video, because it will tell you. Your own mind and your own spirit will tell you what you're looking at. So I think what I'll do, let me take this folder out so I don't lose it. Okay. I will put on another time. Let me show you a little bit of what I'm going to be. Wow. And she's in that red dress in all these videos. She's in the red dress under all these videos, which is also interesting. So I'm going to be going over this interview and the information that comes from these pages. These pages go over, again, the Wells property. But what I'm going to show you is frame by frame how these shift, how the changes within these frames don't stay consistent. like this. And you're probably saying, what the hell are you looking at? I'm looking at the elements that tell the story. This is just an example of what I'm doing later. These doors, this is all different back here. It's the junk that's put in front of the elements that no one gives a shit about. I'm going to point out these doorways. I'm going to point out what under the RV looks like. I'm going to let you guys know where you should really look instead of going to the bright red they want you to, or the bright blue. Like, there's certain things they want to take your eye away from this. They don't want you looking at this. These are elements, and all of a sudden they're not in the other photos. So this is what I'm going to go over with you guys to show you how much of the story that is placed in the video is a bunch of crock of shit. It's a crock of shit. And see how that's 3607, 3611. See that? On the bottom, let me show you. Notice something. And then I'm not going to go through any more because there's 100 pages here. This is 3611. That frame comes right after 3607, right? So throughout this whole video, there's like 4, 5, whatever, 3 seconds that disappear. While these seconds disappear, you guys probably never seen his video like this, because this is an old one. These are the elements. You didn't see that in her original video, or a bright blue truck. 3611, 3615, this shit all changes. But there is no 3612, 3613, 3614. It goes from 3611 to 3615. And it shows these two different things. This is not the same. Period. And that's what I'm going to show you. How each frame that's side by side, there's frames missing in between. But within split seconds, the information changes. The trees change. The trees grow. They disappear. It goes back to that same sentence that Tim Mullen said. Anyone could create a blade of grass. That's what this whole thing's about. Creating blades of grass to cover up the shit. Oh yeah, the tractor, it's on tracks. It's on tracks. Wait till you see the difference. It's like different movies were put together, but the elements are all in there. They're all in there. Yeah. That is what's up next, you guys. For now, let's leave it on what this food truck looks like. Because next up will be Summer Moon Wells and Don Wells's home, all coming from the interview room's footage. And I'm using the footage, not to say anyone's guilty, to show you how it's used for deep fake. That's it. I hope this helps. I hope this makes a difference. I hope this brings justice. I really, really, truly do. Because it's out of control, and I'm not saying he's guilty or not guilty, Brian Kohlberger. All I'm saying is, does he know that he's being used as the cover-up? Because there's way too many people involved. There's a story to be told. There is a story to be busted open. So far, nobody has done it. Nobody. That's the story that the children want told to get justice. The story that's not being discussed. On that note, we will be going to the Wells home next. Everyone have a wonderful, fabulous Thursday night. And nope, she hasn't answered yet. And I will be doing a part 2 as soon as I can get back on, because it's the presentation is already done. So thank you all for your kind, amazing words. Subscribe if you haven't. My subscriptions, I'd like to get them moving higher. They're still staying between 4,310. So I'd like that to bust open. And thumbs up for sure. Thank you, Rumple, on your way out. Muffin Top and all of you amazing WCAA Network family, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining, and watch for the next video. We'll talk really soon. Good night, folks.